So I called the people I met at Berlin when I went down to pick up Cameron's car. And because I want the Prius Prime
Yeah,
Premium
yeah.
plug-in. It looks like my inside. I've got a test camera that has the glass roof sunroof and 100 miles. When you get back, a Prime.
Yeah.
Premium.
Yeah. The rebel is more like 46.
What depends you drive it? I thought it was 42.
Okay, whatever. So
Yeah.
it depends on the reason.
Is something else?
I think there is a delay.
What depends you drive it?
Oh, yeah. I'm delayed.
Okay, whatever. So it depends on the reason.
Is something else?
I think there is a delay.
This is what happened the last time you drive it.
Oh, yeah. I'm delayed.
Ah. I don't even know why you bother with me.
I don't either. Can we make a vote? Technical deal.
It's live stream.
That's enough.
If Sue, she said she would come on Zoom. And that was after a couple of iterations, so we'll see what she does. So my thought about today,
So you call the missing to order?
oh, yes. We have a little thing here. Let's
4:34.
call the meeting to order at 4:35. And we don't have any public, so we have no comments from the public, so let us approve the minutes of our May 8th meeting.
I make the motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of May 8th, 2023.
I second. However, I have,
Yes,
this, you need to say discussion, because I have a correction.
you have a correction, okay. Do you want to do that now?
Right, because it's been second, motion's been seconded,
Okay,
now
so that's, okay,
discussion.
discussion, okay, thank you.
under committee went into executive session. I would like it to say emphatic requested to go into executive session. Catherine agreed and Sandy Weisman called us into executive session.
Okay, say it again. Pat,
Emphatic
yeah,
requested we go into executive session. After Steve learned,
mhm,
agreed. Sandy Weisman called us into executive session.
okay. Thank you.
Because that's how it went, and just as in the minutes that this say we went in, I think some people have issues, so I wanted to make sure it's clarified.
Okay.
We did do it correct.
Okay. Do we have to say when we come out?
Yes, we did.
Okay, is that?
Wait, it was adjourned at 5:21.
We moved to go into executive session at 4:39,
Mhm.
and then we came out,
Yeah, well, we adjourned at 5:21, so it's in between there.
well, it probably came out about 5:20.
Yeah.
But you have to have it both the times when you go in and go out.
You're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, and John,
And I think you're supposed to put that a little squiggle per session, the personnel thing.
yeah, pursuant to Title I, and John sent me again, so I have.
I
it.
just,
And
because that wasn't in here. So
I would like to, if there are instructions on how to do the meeting properly, I'd love to have a copy of that.
Oh, okay, so here's one.
So that we can all learn.
Only have one copy.
Okay, good.
But I did,
But do you need it?
no, I've got another one right here. I just wanted to be really clear if we did that again.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
because we did it in the earlier ones.
so we are going to approve the minutes as amended.
Yeah.
We need to move that.
All in favor, aye.
Okay. Great, so my idea for today is to really stay with old business here, and what I've been thinking about is, we had a hard time, in terms of the process of finding a number of people for board of directors, not because we haven't tried, not because people aren't interested. We've found many people that are interested, because of other ideas, and I don't know if it's a big task, too big of a task.
I think now that we have that packet with pictures, floor plans, description of the characteristics of the buildings, it definitely delineates what we're after. And it's much easier for people to know what we're asking from them, and I think it might make it easier to convince people.
I think that's a really important point.
And you call Sue Snow to see if she's gonna be on this meeting.
Do you have a cell number?
Yeah, phone.
It was in the agenda you sent to her,
Yeah.
the
There was a whole thing, which I'll explain. Okay, David will send. You got the floor plans, okay. Let's see if I-
No, I have it. I got it.
I do have a number for her. Another thought I had, if I were getting involved in something that was going to take several years, I would think. So it is a big ask. I think that's important.
So maybe we can make it more apparent that we are not gonna chain them to the task, if some people need to take off for a reason or another for.
Well, or that the task can be broken down too, so that maybe we really need to think about what we're asking in terms of either the length of time, a year, 2 years is a big ask, but a year, or working on some specific task that I don't have.
I think if
answers.
we could ask for 1 year, it would be much easier to get commitments,
The concern, they were asking everybody 1 year, you
have to have.
you lose people, so. It should be part of the conversation of a year or two, because we need to have some people be there consistent. So new people come on
and
because
do a rotation.
a rotation.
Right.
And because you can't have everyone be there a year and then you're gonna be right in the same
Right.
place.
I think that's right. And I think we have to be very clear, and maybe there has to be a paper or something that we.
And something else
Pass.
is that if the people that only want to do a year, would they go to a committee to help as new members come on and mentor? And so you're not losing,
The momentum.
well, the history, the momentum, but
The knowledge base.
right, and the surge.
I think people have been reluctant because of, the town divisions. And because we've heard people being very interested, but then, and I don't know if you
Yeah,
that from those who have said no, but there does seem to be some backlash or some sense that oh, I am interested, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm not interested, and I don't really know what that's about, but I do think I do think it's a fact.
Yeah.
People are
yeah.
reluctant. I would just put it that way. They're reluctant. They don't want to get in the middle of something that's going on. So that's another one. I do think also that the select board's investment in the project has to be looked at again. And I have talked with Don about this. And he feels he's been, he wants to be incredibly supportive, but I don't know, it's different than when you're starting a 501c3 for a organization that, but the town thing has been a little bit difficult for me to think about how to manage all, all the various rules and obligations instead of having these conversations with people in a more generative or informal way. It's all very formal.
Well, I think with the packet coming out tomorrow night,
That's what we've been waiting.
we're going to have, I would expect substantial feedback.
Yeah,
Either positive or negative, and
Yeah.
probably, some of both, and there, it would be a good way to again, take the temperature of the town, is there. The kind of support there is, and if people are enthusiastic about it, I think it's a good opportunity to say, we need help,
Mhm.
and please step forward, contact us.
Won't happen within the meeting.
No,
It'll happen
no.
after the.
And we can send an email to the listserv,
Right.
the
Right.
next day. Like an appeal to if anybody is interested, and maybe we can think of, so maybe not the next day, but what do we want to state, about the job that we are, for that nonprofit. And mention, we'd like a minimum commitment of 2 years for, let's say, instead of, with possibility of rotation or renewal.
I think we've talked to plenty of people who are on board with the idea, but reluctant, on board, but don't want to get too involved. Or interested in knowing more. I think those are the,
Yeah.
the categories that I've seen. Or that they didn't know very much, but when we talked to them, they were appreciative of knowing more. And so that led me to think about how do we reach those people? And I know we've talked about ambassador groups and haven't done much, but it seems to me rather than pinpointing individuals as we've been doing, that's the area where we have to put some energy in, like having house gatherings, each of us.
Did we get the bulletin board on? Oh, did we put anything on the bulletin board in the life?
Having a center on the board.
Because I think it's pretty important that we're communicating there.
Yeah.
And especially now that we have a package, and we should make those covered in plastic, so they are there and on each page, and see that what's happening. Because we pretty much haven't been able to do much with that until we have the package.
Yeah, we
right?
needed that, and what
The
I would
visual.
suggest we do is actually hold as soon as possible a public information session.
Public Q&A and presentation.
Like when we did it for the Conservation Commission, the room was full, and so let's do that again, and I'm sure people will show up on Zoom.
And Dave's willing to do that in July. I think we talked about doing those in July.
So I think that would be really, really good.
Yep.
I think other committee members of the facility committee should also be willing to like host a group of neighbors, or I think we each of us, if you can think about a group of neighbors that we can bring into our homes and have, and whether you and I are together.
Yeah, I mean, I have my big backyard, and with the good days, it would be very easy to, but again, like if I had like posters, like so could be displayed, I make it sure I announce this is, gonna be fun, but there's going to be an information session, and I'm gonna take people by surprise. I can invite my whole neighborhood, to get village there, and
I can invite mine as well.
So
Interesting. Posters, okay, so the floor plans, poster size.
Yes.
I think, or how big? This big, this 11 by 14?
And then there is the one that's so difficult to see, the spreadsheet. Describing, list of rooms.
The room. I think that could be printed.
We need 11
by 14.
yeah. And a bigger font.
And then, obviously what's important as well are the characteristics of the building, like the insulation, the heating and the energy consumption, and,
Yeah, that was impressive. That was incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Changes the
Yeah.
calculus a little bit, I think, for people. So in terms of a time frame for doing all of that, this whole reaching out to groups of people and and the post,
I think we need to start with the public information session at the town office.
so public information, right?
Yes,
Then,
and then, we can see if there is demand for another one, you know.
Because we can do it in, Spruce Head, because you have a hall and you have enough chairs. So it doesn't matter what the weather is.
Yeah,
And then it has a screen, so you can put it up from the computer, but you have handouts because, you know,
it's the parking situation, how is that?
they're all on the street and then a lot of people park, the people along Patton Point Road walk. And then a lot of people, if it's kind of crowded, park at the post office.
Yeah,
They have to go to the post office.
so town office, Spruce Head, do we want to do one at the, Guilford Butler
I
Center?
think that would be appropriate.
yes, and then, the Historical Society at the West Gig, you know, they are concerned about their artifacts, I can ask. Because again, if we remove the table and put chairs, we can still sit quite a few people there.
Mhm.
And if that doesn't work out, again, you know, this is covered, so for the weather, that would be good because it wouldn't be a weather concern.
That's my only caution when doing having it at our houses,
Yeah,
if you want to be outside.
Yeah, I mean, I can put a group of people in my house, you know, in my living room, I can have 20 people sitting in there for meetings, so I can do that, I can move from.
yeah, I mean, one way party, never would. You know?
Okay, so if we think about 6 to 8 different,
I think it could be good here, Guilford Butler, Spruce said, the gig, you know, we kind of cover. And okay, obviously there is Route 131, so people would have to travel here. I don't know.
and I know somebody right around next to Harjula's, you know, maybe she can help me think about that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so we don't want them to feel excluded, same thing, the people who are on Buttermilk Lane and so forth, you know, they need to rally in one location.
Okay, so. House and other public offerings. And then, once we get people and explain and talk and get questions, how do we keep those people informed and in, you know, that's because some people will,
Forward our emails, from our minutes, from our committee. They get that if they want to. Some people don't want that, but we get them on our email list to get the information. Because you have to tell them to go to the town website, it takes an effort to go in.
That's why the listserv, I think, you know, it's a push method, so you have to, if you want to be receiving
Here,
information.
just carry,
Yeah.
but it's a good way for us to start building our own
Yeah.
email list.
Yeah, and I think we should, if we ask them, would you like to be, copied on the minutes and on drawings and things like that? I
Yeah,
think-
so have a sign up sheet at all those meetings.
Yeah.
For people to say, do you want to receive emails about progress and needs?
Yeah, because I think, you know, kind of making our own stamp on this at
Yeah.
this point would be a really good.
And it makes it easier because we can send things when we want it.
Yeah. Right.
So we just need to verify that it's a feasible way of doing things.
What
Again,
does that mean?
well, that it doesn't have to go through Terry.
Yeah. That's gonna be important as we move forward to have our own communication process, I think.
Yeah, so just to be sure, verify.
Okay. It can be both.
Yes.
You know,
But,
Yeah,
you know, people don't want duplicate stuff.
Yeah, and part of the thing is, if they're getting it twice, they start to leave. So,
Yeah.
I think it's important that we check that the select board and Terry have no problem with us doing that. I can't see an issue, but
right, but we should just.
we should check. But the other part is, we do get the Terry emails, you don't want to have duplication,
Mhm.
and I get a lot of emails, so.
Mhm. I know, I think I canceled so many emails. And then what I also think would be really important to all of our communications, whether, I mean, now that Gabe's work done and we're gonna start to work on the case statement and all of that work, we need testimonials. We need people to say good things about, you know, what they think about the project, what they like about the idea. And we can start with all of us on the big committee. What is important to you about, you know, which I will bring up at our next meeting. But I think, you know, in any case statement and anything that we're going to be, you know, sending out to not just funders, but just communication here, that there's testimonials about, I believe that a new building is an important asset to the community of South Thomaston, those kinds of things for this and this and this reason. And that was one thing that Layla Murphy had said to me, start gathering that. So
The need, you know, expression of need.
yeah. And desire.
Yeah.
You know, what it would mean to them to have a new building. You know, as I started writing, as you saw, I mean, I got this feeling of like, there is no new, hasn't been any, you know, push toward any kind of civic building in this community for a very long time.
Over half a century.
Pardon me?
Over half a century.
Yeah. And I know that people that believe that the Guilford Butler Center is it. You know, we haven't even dealt with what that means, you know, in terms of renovations or all that. I mean, that is not my problem, but I think seeing those images in the packet made me think, oh, you know, this little, I keep saying this little jewel of a building, but, you know, this kind of sparkling little building that would be pride, you know, a lot of pride in town, and something that we, you know, would be a gift to the town.
I think,
Developing
yeah,
the
to me,
needs.
that's the way I see it, as a gift to the people. You know, I mean, I understand people find satisfaction in the current building, but I have, I don't know, ambition to give more.
Mhm. So that needs to be captured so we can keep using that in any kind of thing that we send out in an email or a letter of asking for money or anything that we're going to do in the future, having really good testimonials of why people think it's a good idea and what it will give to the town for the, I see it as a gift for the future, you know, that building is not a gift for the future. That, you know, it's going to continue to bite us in the butt, you know, in terms of renovations and catching up.
And just, yeah, for future, I mean, it's the same, we're a beautiful community in a gorgeous spot, and you know, the same trends are going to continue, like people moving, and now, you know, especially the remote workers like I am, you know, that's why I moved here. It was way before retirement age, but because I wanted to be in a community like this. So I anticipate, you know, to spend the next 30 years here.
Well, that's a goal. Yeah, and also young people, I think, you know, appealing to young people to move in. And I think would be, you know, it would be incredibly important to have that building. So, okay, so what I'm hearing and what I'm trying to assess is how we get these people, how we stay in touch with these people, and how we capture
Yeah,
their ideas or their desires, and keep that kind of constant, you know, stuff captured on paper, or on the computer or whatever. So, therefore, what is needed? What else is needed for this committee? I don't think we should pursue individuals unless they come to us just yet at this time. I mean, the ones that we have will continue to, but I feel like it's been kind of a, you know, we've gotten ourselves into a bind.
again, I have huge expectation after tomorrow, and once people see the packet, hopefully we get even, you know, I think after seeing the packet, actually, it's a good introduction for the people we were thinking about to contact them and say, have you had a chance to review it? And what do you think? And, and, you know, are you ready to continue the conversation about joining the board?
Yeah, okay. I also think we have to start, it's not the job of this committee, but the job of feasibility, looking at some really specific information about the tax, people who are the donors, big donors, and,
But, that should be part of the conversation with the prospective members,
Yeah. right, right.
And then, an idea, maybe a short paragraph about the process of that, how do we envision it to happen? And how long do we anticipate it will take?
Yeah.
To me, it's framing, so that it's not so loose, so that people have a clear idea of what we're asking.
Mhm.
And even if, we're saying 2 years, well, your first task is going to be to do this,
Right.
and we anticipate that it will take, a year and a half,
To raise the
Yeah.
money, yeah. Well, we have to raise 50 to 70% in
Yeah.
order to actually go for.
But it's like even, doing the feasibility study, like asking people, what are you,
Right.
we have to start with that.
Approaching people,
Yeah, so that's gonna take, a year and a half.
the quiet phase, yeah. I think so, I
I
think so.
think we do this to go, you guys are racing forward. Let's get the meeting at the town office in Spruce Head in July and go for Butler Center. And let's do them in July and on a weekday.
Mhm.
And we have to find out a schedule and then, and get people's names and emails. And that should be our first goal that's achievable.
Mhm.
And then, once we do those,
And
regroup.
Yeah,
Sorry, I have to go on these small
No,
steps.
no,
that are achievable.
yeah, it's the key, starting to do the,
But I
Time.
just felt like continuing what we had been doing was not helping, we were not getting through.
We were getting roadblocks.
Yeah, we were
And-
getting roadblocks.
roadblocks, and we were held back by not having the packet, so now it's in
Yeah.
place. So to me, the real start is now.
Yeah, because we've been waiting for this package
Yeah,
for a long time,
yeah,
and it's Ray did a really good job, and so that's what we need to do.
mhm.
And we have to look at some dates and,
So is the actually paying for the Staples copy job, because if it's
I don't know.
color, it was quite a few pages.
Well, we have $850.
Yeah.
if we need some money.
I'm happy to do anything as well, so, yeah, we'll see what he,
We'll
I
find
mean,
out.
I was surprised that he could do that in a 24-hour
Yeah,
turnaround.
because you do it on you email it.
I know, but
Staples.
sometimes they say,
Yeah.
oh, a week away,
I went there today, I wanted to copy some invoices and stuff, and she was busy and somebody came and like urgent, I have been waiting for this, so I was like, oh, are there delays?
No,
And sometimes the machine breaks, so,
Yeah, no, I think, maybe he did it through his company, I don't know, but I think, he obviously was convinced that he could get that done.
he may get it tomorrow, like midday.
Well, right, I would assume so, but that's okay, as long as he knew he could get it done.
Yeah, that's-
Because I think it's.
I think we'll work over it. I mean, those
Yeah.
girls are amazing there. They're really working hard.
So did you call Sue? Sorry.
I texted her.
Oh.
Hello.
No,
Okay.
all right. Well, that's what I have. I don't think we need to go into executive session, and I did ask John and say that if we are gonna. I don't know if we're the only other committee that goes into executive session. Did you ever have to go into executive session?
No, with the budget, no.
Yeah. So I said, then somebody needs to run the tech for that. And he said, well, maybe Cal. But I said, no, if you want that kind of access to everybody, then it has to be designated. So I said,
What about we do the meeting? And then schedule the next meeting and then adjourn the meeting saying we're going to executive session at that point. And so the whole meeting that's public is all at one time. The meeting ends and we add the vote at the point, and then our minutes record the time in which we went in and finished. So it's done.
So that next meeting, you're talking about the next meeting, not to. Okay.
Right, correct. But the next meeting, the agenda should have everything that we're gonna talk about in public. Then,
Executives.
and then we schedule, say when the next meeting is, so that that's all there. And then we, at the adjournment, we say we're going into executive session. And with the vote and with the time, and then the minutes will report dutifully when we came back out
Mhm.
and we go home.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to do. 'Cause it's
And
ridiculous.
not put that on,
This
Yeah,
is ridiculous.
turn off everything.
Yeah.
and
This
then-
is ridiculous to go in and out. I
Yeah,
understand it
It's,
for
it's
select.
hard, it's hard, and it's also, you know, out of the desire to keep everybody involved as much as possible. You know, I mean, it didn't used to happen like this, so,
But I'm gonna say, I don't think this meeting should be on Zoom. Unless somebody can't come,
right,
who's a member because of
right,
travel, disabilities, or whatever.
right.
That I understand, but it's not, it doesn't need to be a public meeting.
No, well, and the other concept of this being a working committee, I mean, let's just make it go back to being a working committee. Official town committee, but because we've been trying to make the select board part of this, and we wanted to make the library director part of this. That was the impetus for having this be a very public situation, but those two things don't seem to exist. And, so I'm less inclined to be, why couldn't we just be a working? You know, it would be so much easier.
So can we look at July for, sorry, I want to get back on that.
Sure.
Look for July, some tentative dates that
Mhm.
we can check with Terry in the town office availability. And not have a, for a Q&A.
Okay, let me go back to Q&A. Q&A.
And I don't know when selectmen's meetings are and any of those,
So
so,
the next select board meeting is June 29th.
right, but I'm looking into.
I know. And I haven't heard whether we're all being invited or not.
Didn't look on the agenda.
I can't make it on the 29th. I'm sorry, I have an invitation.
No, you.
I'm looking at I looked at the agenda. Short and sweet.
What kind of a night do you think in July?
Well, I think it should be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so.
July 11th?
Well, I think we have to have some different times.
No, I know. I'm
just looking at,
11, 12, 13?
or the 18th, 19th, and 20th,
Yeah.
and then,
The 12th, there is a conservation commission meeting, so I'm out.
That one off.
and so, because what I'm looking at is I've got a Spruce Head event on Wednesday, so I wanted to ask him, maybe
Wednesday, what, July?
doing in Spruce Head like the 25th or the 26th or the 27th. one of
Yeah,
those
and the
days.
20th is out, I have a planning board meeting.
So Spruce Head 25, 26, 27?
That's what I'm looking at, and then I'm gonna verify it Wednesday.
Okay.
So that we can do
That would be great. And 20 is out for you. So the 18th, 19th, 18th. Those are fine for me.
Yeah, the 18, 19s are fine.
So that could be here, if we can contact Terry. At the office.
I think that there's a good amount of time. So we can let it go.
Okay. I'll
And
talk
then-
to Gabe.
And Dave's gonna be able to make these, and then check. with Penny with the Guilford Butler Center.
Maybe at the end of the month.
Yeah,
Well, okay, after the.
or. I wouldn't do anything the first week in August, because that's Lobster Festival.
Oh,
August is pretty busy. But to fill in, once we know the
We could
date
do
for
a
the.
Saturday at the Guild,
We could do the Saturday.
because they have a lot of people on Saturdays. So
maybe
if we-
16th or 23rd.
or the 15th of July.
Okay.
Might
Or
as well.
or what?
I just know that Penny's kind of been concerned on a Saturday when with too many people, so we just need to get her feedback. But maybe one during the day, people that don't want to be out in the evening.
Yeah, that's a good idea as well.
And do it at check with what's the schedule that would be.
I
Okay,
can be there if it's on a Monday.
We could do a Monday, and maybe that Monday works. But we need to contact Penny on that one.
okay, 17th, 24th, in that frame.
Yes, it would work.
All right, I mean, let's wait till after tomorrow night, see what happens, and then we'll start scheduling.
Then we can schedule it, and then we might have to, what we can do is get those pinned down, and then our next meeting with the committee is the 6th. And
Right.
we can then pin it down on the 6th.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
Right. Okay,
That way we've done our
Sounds
homework, and we're gonna do
I'm
it.
gonna ask everybody on the committee to write a testimonial to bring to the July 6th meeting about why they want a new building, you know, so at least we start with us. That will be homework. And,
So you need to get that out.
I will get that. After tomorrow night.
Sorry, I just want to make.
I did, I have sent out some emails to people to come tomorrow night because of the big unveiling.
Yeah,
I'm
that-
getting that, you know, and if they're interested.
Make a copy of your,
Oh, I could bring it. Yes, thank you. The case for support there.
Thank you.
Did you, I mean.
You have-
I mean-
No, you gave me, you gave
Oh,
me.
I gave it to what? I printed it.
Sure.
It's really a draft. It's.
I know, I
know.
Not a paper person.
I know, me too.
And it's easier to.
And it's easier to write.
And right now, it's really been a little bit frustrating that I can't print. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
No, I always print and then I make marks, but it was a way of organizing and knowing where I didn't have information and needed more. information. So I will get to the historical society and fill in. They don't have any regular hours or anything. How does it work over there?
Where,
At the historical society?
they are right now, summer or so, Saturdays and Sundays
Okay.
are open.
No, I thought it was Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, Friday or Saturdays, yeah.
10 to 2.
Two or something.
It's
There
right.
is somebody, but it can be a volunteer. So, you know, if we need to communicate, we need to communicate with Carol, Dumont, you know.
Okay, Cheryl Dumont,
You know.
and not Beverly.
Beverly is a curator, so, but in the end, it will have to go to the board for them to decide. And
Okay.
I know I already requested, it's a possibility to have groups meeting there and, the reservation was obviously the safety of all the artifacts in the living room and so forth, but it's not like we are having kids.
Right,
So, we need to stir that conversation again, and I could see where they are at with that.
they must have documents about the Grange Hall there, they have to.
Well, I would hope so, but I know I had asked Beverly, and I told you she had first, no, I had asked her to do some research about Mr. Guilford Butler, and she couldn't find much, and so talking to people who have resided here for a long time, then we might be able to
Yeah.
find.
But if there was any, the Grange had meetings of the Grange, there would be minutes.
Yeah, and it has to have. some
Because
doc-
like Spruce State Community Center.
Yeah,
Was
so
100 years old, but the minutes
Beverly
are
will be
there.
the one to
We have
do
been
that.
on Google every which way to
So
see.
it wouldn't be there.
No, I know, but I just.
They aren't
for the burning,
scanned.
The date of the burning down, I still can't find that date, and it seems crazy that, you
It
get
was
all the
amazing.
Grange halls in Maine on, for images, but none of them are South Holland things.
Well, there are some of the South Somerset Range within the historical society.
Oh, yeah, I saw them
Yeah,
when I was
yeah.
there for the movie, so, but I was like, okay, where, what are the dates? Because obviously people, like Audrey McClure was here when the Grange was here. I mean, I could ask her,
Yeah.
she's so anti. New building, so, but I think maybe Marie shouldn't say that, I know. I know,
And, but I can ask her, so I mentioned Pleasance Crawford.
I love that name, Pleasance Crawford, isn't that great? So maybe we can meet with her, that would be.
Yeah,
fun.
that's a good character for me.
But there are others too, that I think could get some information, people that went to dances.
You would have loved the presentation that she presents is the one we talked at the last American Society, and my mom was essentially the first person who studied an artist collaborative. She could not be collaborative, she was having a shop and had all the local artists bring their things. And that was years ago when she ended up moving a shop from their house to their newer house where the garage was set, and it was beautiful things, and many of the art presents in homes, actually. So she,
Did they have dances both in the Grange? 'Cause they had dances at Spruce Head.
No, I remember Audrey saying they went to dances at the Grange Hall.
And it's interesting that they being 3 miles apart.
Yeah,
They had.
well,
there were
the
dances.
pictures mentioned this, so I don't know if she was around for those.
but
And
wouldn't Sally Merchant have been around?
Well, Sally grew up in
I know.
Spruce Head, and she knows all the history there.
So, yeah.
so we need to, have a conversation with all these people, maybe organize a tea.
That'd be great, a tea, old timers.
When are we gonna meet next?
Oh, okay, so we need to meet,
schedule.
let's not meet too soon because we're not, let's get some of this stuff on the books first and then
Well, I was wondering if we should meet like by the 10th of July.
10th of July, 10th of July would be good for me. You want to do that?
That's probably
Because, well, we'll have already had our committee meeting,
We'll have, yeah,
and then,
and I can report on this to our next committee meeting, but the July 10th, we can.
we'll already have the town meeting. And we'll know all of our dates because of the committee meeting, we'll have those in stone.
Right,
And then at the 10th meeting, we should have exactly what we're gonna talk about. Same page document for everybody.
okay, all right, that's the subject, that's the agenda for that meeting.
And a sign up sheets for their name and their email. And we need to know if Sue's gonna come or we need another selectman.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, this is our 5th meeting
Mhm.
and we got it one.
all right, do we?
I moved that we adjourn.
So
I second.
Thank you very much. That was good. And that
5:16. 5:16.
That's great.
And you can turn off that machine. That's one good meeting.
Excellent. I really like them.
Is YouTube off?
I'll find out.